This is Sports for Real with Coach Hall. Just wanted to take a few minutes to come on and give you an update about what's going on in Tallahassee. If you're not aware, there's a big financial scandal of sorts going on at Florida A&M University. You know, years ago in the book written by Iceberg Slim, he made the statement, never count your scratch until you get it into your mitt. In other words, never count your money until you get it in your hand. Otherwise, it could come back to be an embarrassment for you, or you're going to be short, in other words. Well, this is the situation that my university has found itself in. Let me give you a little timeline here. Back on May 4th, they had their spring commencement exercises, or graduation ceremony, if you will, and up strolled a person with a donation. Turned out to be Gregory Gerami of Batterson Farms Family Trust, and he said that he was donating $237 million to the university. That was great shock and surprise to everybody, because that would be the largest donation to an HBCU to date. If you don't know what that is, that's basically historically black colleges and universities. And everybody's all excited, as well as they should be. But then as days passed, questions started to surround the validity of this donation. And because questions started to surround, the president started to backtrack a little bit. Because if you get a donation or you make this large announcement, to the grandiose announcement, I should say, to the whole world, and then it turns out not to be what it is, then that is embarrassing. Because on the graduation day, he said that the money is already in the bank. It's been deposited. Well, come to find out, what was actually deposited were stock, not money. So while you're getting all excited, the money hasn't been fully accounted for. And the big problem with the stock is it hasn't been valuated, hasn't been fully valuated, which means that $237 million could actually be worth more than that, or it can be worth zero. So because of all this storm that is brewing, the vice president of University Advancement, which is nothing more than the chief fundraiser at the university, has resigned, Dr. Shantae Friday Stroud, and she's going back to the School of Business of Industry where she wanted to be all along. Yes, she's got less headache, she's where she wants to be, but her name is always going to be clouded with this situation that's taking place at the university. Now, this guy, Greg Gerami, he's got the most on the line. His investment is being questioned. Well, if you are going to give a donation, you would think that you already know what it's worth. Otherwise, you're putting your reputation on the line. Well, why would you come out of the blue and give a donation if you haven't already come to some kind of agreement with the university? And that is certainly the case, because behind the scenes, a non-disclosure agreement was signed. That's why when the guy came up for the graduation ceremony, nobody knew who he was, because he had signed a non-disclosure agreement. But which brings me to my main point. Since Friday resigned, my question is, who's next? Well, why do I ask that? Well, about 20 years ago, there was all kind of financial misgivings and things going on at Florida A&M University, and they started to look for ways to reduce the budget. And as they started to look around, they looked at the athletic department and they saw that the head coach, Billy Joe, he was making more money than anybody. So I started to think, well, you know what? They might try to get rid of Joe. This guy's a winning football coach. He's won everywhere he's gone. He was the president of the College Football Association, which is rare for a HBCU coach. The man was well decorated, and he had the program where it needed to be, and he said at that time that this is the best team he was going to have. And he's had teams that's gone to the semifinals of the 1AA playoffs. So for him to say that, you know, he was ready to make a serious challenge for the championship. But they fired him because he had more income than anybody else in the athletic department. Now, he ended up winning this case from the university years later. But my point is, right now, the athletic director, Tiffany Don Sykes, she's not very popular with FAMU football fans. For whatever reason, they don't like the move she makes. And then if you recall, a couple months back, she tried to hire this coach that was involved in controversy against the university several years back. He used to be a football coach at North Carolina A&T. And if you know anything about Florida A&M, the press box side, the home team never was on the press box side. They were against the press box. So the teams crossed when they left the field. And they got into an altercation, and this particular coach was involved in that. Because of that, now the home team goes under the press box side, traditionally like everybody else. But she tried to bring this guy in to be the head coach. Once they saw that name, they had a fit. So they really wanted to get rid of it then. So they rescinded that position to that particular coach, and they found the coach that they have now. Well, the point I'm trying to make is, just like they found a way to try to get rid of Billy Joe, this might be enough ammunition for them to go after Sykes. Again, I don't advocate nobody to lose their job, but this is just the way things tend to work. So, because there's an investigation going on about this money, expected to come back to Stroud, not Stroud, but Sykes, because she was in on signing that non-disclosure agreement. Now, again, the reputation really at stake here is Jerami and his Batterson Farms. But it still brings up the point that not only Sykes could be fired, but it illustrates the idea that FAMU got what I call the shine eye. They saw all this gaudy numbers, and they just knew it was going to be good. And before they did all their homework on the information, they just went with it and told the world. So they got caught with the shine eye, I call it. And like Iceberg Slim say, never count your scratch until you get it in the mitt. So this is an ongoing situation. It's going to be an investigation. I expect more heads to roll. And as I get more information on that, I'll keep you posted. All right, switching gears. How you doing, Roxy the Wolf? No, I'm not upset. I'm just talking about what's going on at my university. It's always something, Give me something to talk about anyway. But no, I have no reason to be upset about it. I can't control any of that. But I appreciate your comments, though. The only other thing, like I said, the Knicks and the Pacers, they were fighting it out tooth and nail, only to get the honor of being slaughtered by the Celtics. They didn't get slaughtered last night. They lost by, 5 points? But it's still a loss. And they put up a good fight, and it's primarily because they're still wider from the Knicks series. But once they realize that they can't beat the Celtics, those scores are going to get wider and wider, and expect a blowout or two in this series. And the Celtics, they're going to the finals, and now that Denver is gone, it's going to look like it's going to be a coronation for the Celtics this year. But that's all I got today. I just wanted to put my 2 cents in. I tried not to say much about it, but it's not going to go away. If you're going to give somebody some money, you would think the money is already there. But if that stock turns out to be worthless, that is a major embarrassment. And even though a university really doesn't lose anything behind that, it's still embarrassing. And because embarrassment took place, somebody's going to be punished for that. And that's just the way it goes. Me, I could care less. Your reputation is ruined, not mine. But I never would have said anything until I knew the money was there. Again, never count your scratch until you get it in your mitts. All right, got to go to work. This has been Sports for Real. You all have a great day. Catch you next time.